Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to learn about Nordic BLE SDK and soft devices that are available in this development kit. Previously we have seen a lot of stuff, and maybe for the beginners it's going to be a lot of information. So in the future tutorials I will slowly dig deeper, and I will make sure that everybody grasps the basic concepts of Bluetooth. So right now we are going to learn about the soft devices that are available. This is the basic thing that you need to understand what is available for us, and how we are going to configure everything so that we can use them in our applications. So right now we will start from Nordic's BLE SDK and soft devices. So what's present in the SDK? Basically, SDK contains all the files to start developing, and previously in the previous all of the series for the beginners, you have seen lots of tutorials on hardware peripherals, and those were all from the SDK. So SDK has lots of examples as well, and the SDK has all of the code as well. So we can easily use everything from the SDK. So for now, let's see, the SDK is basically containing all the stuff, and when we download from Nordic's website, you have seen we are also given the option to download some soft devices. We will see what are soft devices in a while. For now, let's see the SDK. So it has some special files which are needed to interact with soft devices. For example, we have some header files which are necessary to interact with the hardware peripherals. So SDK contains all of them, and BLE is basically the protocol that's working on the hardware radio. So the radio peripheral is implemented in the hardware, and the BLE is the protocol that follows that. So basically we have everything in the SDK, and we can use SDK to implement almost any application on BLE. So BLE is the Bluetooth Low Energy, as I have mentioned in the previous tutorial. So here I'm just saying BLE for the Bluetooth Low Energy. And SDK contains all the hardware and BLE and security related data. The data here means that we have all the header files and C files, all the written code from Nordic. So we don't have to rewrite everything from scratch. So Nordic has already provided everything, so it's easier to implement. And that code is present in the SDK, and we are just going to use those files. There are some also third-party libraries in the SDK. We need to compile some of them, so we will see in the future tutorials how to do that. So you don't need to worry about that. We will see that, and let's see. What is a soft device? So a soft device is basically a compiled binary of a BLE code which is developed by Nordic Semiconductors. So basically the Nordic Semiconductors have developed all the protocols code, so we don't really need to write everything from the scratch. So in other sense, it's already compiled, so we just need to attach this file along with our application code. So this works on the hardware. In order to use a soft device, we need to include it in our project, and also we are going to use some header files which are going to connect with the API, and here will be our application. So let me explain a little bit about this. So nRF5 devices, which could be nRF52832 or nRF52840, and we also have some other nRF series devices, but the main devices that I will be using in this tutorial series will be nRF52832 and nRF52840. So hardware here means that these are the devices. It can be nRF52832 or nRF52840. Then we have CMSIS. CMSIS drivers are basically the ARM Cortex M4, which is the base processor of nRF5 series microcontrollers. So we have some drivers layer here, a file system that will be used in the flash. We will see that later on. And then we have the Nordic's implementation, which is the soft device itself, application specific drivers, and API from which we are going to connect our application. So all of this part from here to here is already implemented by Nordic, so we don't need to write any of these things. We just need to call these functions in our applications, your application code, and these functions will be called. So one thing to mention here is that these application specific peripheral drivers are along with the soft device, so we have to see which soft device is compatible with our IC, or which soft device is compatible with our chip. So for example, nRF52832 has some other series of soft devices, and nRF52840 has some other series of soft device. So we will see that in a while. So basically everything is managed by the soft device itself, and we have some basic functions. We can call these functions to perform some work inside the soft device, and if the soft device wants to communicate with us, it's going to give us events, and we will handle these events in our application. Basically all of this is a hidden part, and we just need to work on our applications, so it's going to be easier to implement everything in the BLE. As a beginner, I know that it's a little bit confusing at the first time, like soft device is a new concept for some beginner microcontroller developers, because in the microcontrollers normally we just use simple application code, and then we compile it, and then we put that code into our microcontroller. But here soft devices are a part of the code which is pre-compiled. So we will add that code, that pre-compiled binary, along with our code into our microcontrollers. So it's a little bit different concept, and some beginners are also confused with the soft devices. So I have a simple way to represent the soft devices. Basically Nordic Semiconductor have a basic way to represent what a soft devices series means. So I have opened that series numbering into some information so that it's easier for you to grasp the concept of what a soft device is capable of. So the soft devices are available to be downloaded separately or along with the SDK. Basically the software devices that I will be using with nRF52832 or nRF52840 are already present in the SDK, so I don't really need to download them. But we can download some specifications of the soft device so that we can know what this soft device is capable of. So for the basics, let's see. A soft device might have a name as S, X, X, and X. So these X represent some specific code. So the S is for the soft device, and the X is the code number. So for example, the first X is going to be a number which could be 1, 2, or 3. If it's 1, then it means it can support BLE, the Bluetooth Low Energy Protocol. If it's 2, then it means it can support ANT protocol. It's another protocol. We will not discuss that right now. My main concern is the BLE because it's a big topic, so it's going to take a lot of tutorials. The third one is the BLE and ANT if it's 3. So here if the first word is the first X here, the first number is 1, it means it's BLE. If it's 2, it means aunt. And if it's 3, then it means BLE and aunt together. The second X represents the device's capability. It can either be a master or a slave. If it's 1, then it means it has a peripheral role, which means it works. The device can only work as a slave. And if it's 2, then it means it can only work as a central device or a master device. If it's 3, then it means it can work both as a central and as a peripheral device. So mostly the soft devices that are available are peripheral role and central or peripheral, and we don't normally use this central only. So the third X represents the device chip that is supported by the soft device. For example, if it's 2 in the end, then it is most likely to work on nRF5 to 832 series. So for example, if it's S112, it means it is BLE because it's 1, so it's only BLE. And the second is 1, it means it only supports peripheral role, it doesn't support central role. And 2 here means it's the nRF52832. Similarly, if it's 113, then it's going to be nRF52833, which is another processor, but normally we just use nRF52832 or nRF52840. Soft device 132 or 132 is BLE along with both master and slave roles. Because it's 3, it means its second X is 3, which means it can support both roles. And the 2 here represents the nRF52832. Sometimes there can be some special cases. For example, S140. Here 4 doesn't represent anything around here, but it belongs to S13 family, basically S13X. So after S13X there couldn't be a 0 placed here, so they placed this 1340. It can work as both central and peripheral, and it is supported by nRF52840. One thing to mention here, and you should keep in mind, that there are some special drivers that are compiled along the binary for these specific chips. So for example, if they have compiled something for nRF52832, it's not going to work very well on nRF52840, even though their processors are similar, but each device has its own internal architecture and its own way to work. So you will see many unknown errors, and you won't be able to catch them. So it's going to be a troublesome thingy. So I would recommend you to keep an eye on the soft device that you are using along with your chip. For example, if I'm using nRF52832 and I'm using S132, and you are using nRF52840, don't use S132. You should be using an S140. So here is the basics that I have already discussed. So for example, here are some available devices from the Nordic site. We can download these soft devices as compiled binaries along with their header files if we want to, but normally as I told earlier, we already have the basic soft devices in the SDK, so we don't really need to download them. So here you can see S110 is for these nRF51422 and 51822. These are old chips and they have less RAM and memory. So we are using nRF52832. So our soft device with the BLE along with the peripheral role should be S112 if we just want our device to act as a peripheral. If we want our device to act as both central and peripheral, then we can use S132 for nRF52832, and nRF52840 will support S140. So one thing to look around here is that S113 is for 2833 but not for 52840. So the soft device for nRF52840 can support central and peripheral roles. So it doesn't have just a peripheral, it has a lots of RAM as compared to nRF52832. So it's completely okay to just use this soft device. There is another protocol, as I have previously mentioned, it's ANT, and it has this series like S2, 210 and 212. Similarly, if we want to support both protocols, that is BLE and ANT, then we have to use S3 series and S310, S312, and here are our devices. nRF52832 for that, S332 would be useful, and S340 for nRF52840. How do I know which soft device I should be using for my projects? So for the beginners, I would recommend you should be using S132 for the nRF52832 and S140 for nRF52840. And you shouldn't be using other soft devices unless it's specifically available. Otherwise, normally in the SDK as well and in the templates, these soft devices are always present there. So we don't need to modify the code, or we don't need to add the soft devices. But later on in the tutorials, I will let you know how we can do that. The soft device is based on your application demands. For example, if you are using a soft device, if you are using a device as a peripheral, you don't need to use your device as a central. Then, and if you are using nRF52832, then according to this, you can just use S112, and it's going to take less flash memory as well as less RAM. So as we can see here, in our memory, program memory, the first we put soft device, so we have to reserve this area for the soft device, and we also have to reserve some area in the RAM for this soft device. So you can see that here is our application, and here is the application region in the RAM. So we have to give some specific memory area to the soft device. So I will let you know how we can do that in the upcoming tutorials. I will cover everything, so you don't need to worry about anything. So for now, just keep in mind that we use some RAM space for the soft device. We also use some flash memory for the soft device. So there is less space left for the application, and for same happens in the RAM area as well. The more functions that we use in the soft device, for example, if I'm implementing a simple soft device, then maybe the base RAM used is only this much. But if I'm using more functions, like if I'm making more services, then it would take more RAM. So I will have to increase the RAM area, or otherwise what's gonna happen is you will receive an error, and you have to, and this error would be a simple error, and it would tell you that there is not enough RAM space for the soft device to work on. So we will see in the future tutorial how we can cover that. So that's it for today. I hope so you have learned something new today about soft devices. And if you are new to my channel, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you enjoy my tutorials, please do support me on my PayPal. I will be posting more videos, so be sure to subscribe to my channel. And thank you very much. See you in the next video.